It's like we're twin flames in a different life. Deep connection lights a spark.
So excited for today's video. This is gonna, wow, I look like alfalfa. My little bow's being crazy. Hold on. Let's tame the bow. We are doing our first house for the revamp of my Helping Hand series. This mama I actually know because I give her milk for her son. So I have all my stuff, including 1,000 ounces of milk that I am bringing her. And we are going to tackle her kitchen and family room today. I always ask the people I help, what is the places in your home that are the most impactful if they were to be cleaned? And that's where I like to start, because I find that working in those areas will help motivate them to be able to do more once I leave. So I asked her what are those two places, and for everyone it's a little bit different. Some people it's their bedroom, maybe it's their bathroom. You never really know. And she said her kitchen and family room. So that is where we're going to be starting today. I also do plan on going back probably Sunday and helping her out some more. We're just gonna see how much I can get done today and play it by ear. But yeah, I'm really excited.
I was quietly protective of my heart to reassure that I couldn't break to pieces and be left alone once more. If you hadn't been so patient, you'd be easy to ignore. You put up with all my till you didn't anymore. And now I stand here calling at your door. Oh, now I stand here
I absolutely love doing videos like this because I feel like I can explain my process so much better when you guys have a video maybe you can relate to a little bit more. I know often people say that my house is harder to relate to because your house is messy. So I love coming out and doing these helping hand videos. I've been wanting to start this up again for so long. So this was so much fun to be able to do it again. I am literally starting on one side of the room, and I wanted to start on the easiest side because I knew the side with all the toys, we were going to need more space to be able to really go through and figure out what we were going to keep, what we needed to toss, and what we were going to donate. The great thing about this house though is this mama was so motivated to get her house back in order that she was extremely helpful throughout the entire process. Now, I don't have a big crew of people or anything. It's just me and the homeowners if they help out. So this was over about 3 hours that we were able to get this done. I also usually only have so many hours in a day that I can come and help. So I try and tackle the things that I think will make the biggest impact. So a lot of that's going to be clutter, obvious dirt and mess. And if I have time to do more thorough deep cleaning, I do love to get in and do that. But I often find that people don't need like a perfect reset. They just need that help to get going. I know a lot of times people see stuff like this like, oh, how did you let it get so bad? And I try and come in here without any judgment. I have heard so many stories from people I've helped over the years. And in this mama's case, she was talking to me of how just the week prior, how she had clocked 80 hours at work. And it really doesn't take long when you're a mom working outside of the house and everything. A week, 2 weeks, a month of not having the time to really clean and everything, things can get out of control really quickly. And often people don't need a lot of help. It's just that motivation to get started. Because when you see stuff get so out of control, it's really easy to just completely shut down and not even know where to start. Now, when it comes to cleaning products, I use a mix of stuff. I often will use what clients have in their house. I do bring my own just in case if certain things are a little bit more stubborn. I know which products I use work the best. So in this situation, I was using her multi-purpose cleaner here to just wipe down this TV stand and everything. But I do end up going in and grabbing some of my cleaner to do like the floors and stuff. That's where you saw that super clean. That stuff works really, really well when you are dealing with some pretty stubborn like stains and buildup and things like that. But if you are in this situation of just feeling overwhelmed and everything, I mentioned these in my videos, but start in just one area and one easily obtainable area. Often, all we need is to see progress to get us motivated. So starting in one section that's visually going to make a very, very big difference, but isn't too overwhelming, is often all you need to get that quick motivation to just start. I also was having so much fun. Her little boy was so talkative and wanting to be in everything. So you are going to see him a lot because he was often by my side asking questions, trying to see what I was doing, making sure I wasn't getting rid of his favorite things, and he was just the sweetest. Now, I have mentioned this in previous helping hand videos, but I do want to mention this again now. I am very strict when it comes to my helping hand series. Often when people reach out, this can be something that they feel very awkward about asking for help. They can feel like they're kind of failing, and I don't want anyone to feel bad about asking for help because there is a lot more people out there that could use this help but feel embarrassed or whatever about asking. So if you leave any type of negative comments on my helping hand videos, I am a lot less lenient, and unfortunately you will be blocked immediately. I don't want any nasty comments that would hinder anyone that's just trying to get a little bit of help. If it's from being a busy mom, elderly couples, or maybe medical issues, there's so many situations where people can get in, and we have no place to judge, and that's definitely not why I am here. So if you have anything not nice to say, I would just say keep it to yourself because we do not handle that here, and we try to keep it as nice and friendly as possible.
She's my country girl. I couldn't tell you what she's doing to me. She's so damn out of my league. She's a little bit crazy on the weekends, dancing in her red dress, and I love the way she looks in my eyes. And I'm feeling like midnight's getting closer, and I just wanna hold her.
So normally when I am cleaning my house, I often say I like to work top to bottom. So floors would normally be done last. But whenever I'm working somewhere where it is more messy than normal, I do like to sweep and mop as I go, just to kind of help as I'm moving furniture around and whatever, that I'm getting just some of it picked up, especially since we are moving around a lot and I don't want to track dirt from one area to the next. And then I do like to go back at the end and do one final vacuum and mop as well. But you can see all the little stuff, juice and mud and whatever is all on these floors. That super clean works really, really well. If your floors are really bad, any type of good degreaser or something like that, those are great options to really pick up the dirt. You also may want to consider doing a double mop. So literally it's exactly what it sounds like. You're going to mop your floors and then mop it again right after with fresh, clean water, or do that as many times as the water is getting dirty. It's just really going to depend on your situation. But here you can see we're just kind of moving stuff around, putting stuff away where they're supposed to. If you are working in one room though, I do recommend when you're putting stuff away, just put it in that room. It's very easy to get like squirrely and you're dealing with one thing and then you move to the next thing. So if you can just put the things in the room where they belong and deal with putting it actually away later. That way you don't get distracted from the task at hand. So this is when we were trying to figure out what the best option was going to be. So when we lifted up this couch, I just quickly decided, okay, let's just move all of this out of the way. It doesn't need to stay here, but we'll just move it. So I was going to vacuum by this wall, quickly mop it. That way we could move the sofas over here. It also then allowed us so much more space when it came to organizing and decluttering the toys. I was laughing so hard at this time, and I do this with my kids also, but you're going to see in a little bit, the little boy is coming around when I am vacuuming, and I've always done this with my kids, so I was just so used to it with him, but I kept doing the like, I'm going to get your toes, so you see him jumping around. That's because I was just teasing him and pretending that I was going to vacuum over his toes. Let me know if you do that with your kids. He was having so much fun. And like I said, he was being so good and so cute. And I think it's good sometimes to keep the kids involved. Often that's the one thing that can feel really overwhelming, is trying to keep kids out of the way. And sometimes that's just not possible. And if it's not possible, well, sometimes you just have to work with them instead of against them. We did decide though, well, she decided that we were just going to get rid of this rug. It was gotten to a point where she didn't think it was worth trying to save it. So I did vacuum it, but then we ended up rolling it up and taking it right out to the curb. And then I just, once again, went in, vacuumed, and then mopped. That way we could move the sofas and really get into the heart of this cleaning. Now, I mentioned this a little bit in my last video, and I'm talking to her about it, so we're going to figure it out. This mama does not love her yellow walls, and she hasn't done any decorating or anything since moving into this house just because hasn't been in love with the place. Well, we decided that as long as she is cool with it, we are looking at doing a mini makeover for her. I have some ideas, just obviously getting rid of the yellow walls. She does not like these yellow walls, so that's going to be like first goal is let's get rid of the yellow walls and give her something fresh and bright. But I would also love to get her a new rug since we did get rid of her old one, and maybe get some window curtains and better organization for the toys as well. I'm also looking for a TV stand. So as long as we can make everything work, I am very excited to give that to her. I think that sometimes keeping your house clean is a lot easier when you love your space. So just a little bit of a freshening up and everything will hopefully give her the motivation and energy to keep up with things, even though she is crazy like motivational with how much she works to support her kids and everything. This I would love to do just to help her out.
I remember her in songs, decades old, but it doesn't matter.
Now on to the toys. So we made sure we had areas of trash, donate, and then obviously keep. So I always make sure that I check with the owners before I start making any decisions. Certain things like little pieces that are broken, or if they're like, okay, these little tidbit things we're just getting rid of. I like to figure that all out because that way I can make a quick decision as I'm going through. But I also sit here often and I'm just talking with them, helping them to make the decisions and how I mentally go through my head. Is this something that the kids actually play with, or is it just making more clutter and overwhelming them? I know as parents, we often show our love for our kids in things and buying them stuff. And for the most part, kids actually play and do so much better with less than this overwhelming amount of stuff. And I always explain to people, if you look at this mess right now and think about how overwhelmed you feel. As an adult, we look at this and we're like, oh my goodness, how am I even going to start to get all these toys cleaned and organized? Well, imagine being 2 feet tall, 3 feet tall, looking at that mess and how overwhelmed they must feel. It really does hinder their creativity, their imagination. So as much as it can hurt sometimes, because as parents, this is our memories as much as it is theirs, it really does help in the long run to declutter and get rid of the things that they just don't play with anymore.
Oh baby, I dived all into you. You must do the same or you're not in it. 난 모든 걸 다 내게 줬단 듯이 get up on it and do.
I also do think it's important to get the kids involved. Now, not always is it actually letting them make decisions. That's going to depend on the age of the kids, because obviously at 2 years old, they'll keep everything. Rarely do they have like actual attachments to things. And when they do, as parents, we know what they have attachments to. So one thing I knew for sure, as much as I asked what things I could definitely get rid of, I also asked what things definitely stay. So her little boy right now is obsessed with dinosaurs. So anything dinosaur related, I knew was a keeper. And then I gave him just a simple little task of finding all the balls and putting them in the bin behind us, because we knew we were going to keep the balls, and it kept him distracted, but also kept him involved. I think it's great to keep kids involved. It teaches them a lot, as well as keeps you a little bit more sane because you are keeping them busy as you're working. And as you saw before, I like to sweep all the toys into a pile, and as we go, I keep putting them into a smaller and smaller pile. I do that for a specific reason. We started with a ginormous pile of toys, and if we didn't sweep it into a smaller and smaller area, it'd be harder to see the progress. By sweeping in a smaller area, one, we're not moving around as much. We're able to just go through that pile, but we're also seeing the progress, which keeps you a lot more motivated to keep going.
Get up on it and do. Get up on it and do. My channel's driving on it. Don't see the online. Get a little bit of my.
My next big tip when it comes to kids stuff is you want to get it out of there right away. You do not want to keep boxes and bins of things that you're throwing away or donating out, because I can guarantee the kids are going to go through it and it's going to make the process a lot harder. So we made sure we had bins, we had bags, we had everything to get it out right away. You'll actually see later, I offered to take everything that was trash and donations for her. That way it was out of the house. She didn't need to worry about it and didn't need to worry about the kids actually getting back into the different things. Because even while doing this process, it never fails that the kids find something and are like, oh, wait, that's my favorite, whatever. And they could have not played for it for 2 years. But once they see it, they start thinking about it again. So definitely get it out of the house, out of sight, out of mind. I know it can feel really hard, like I said. As parents, I think it's harder often on us than on the kids. But if they haven't played with it in over 6 months, over a year, I can guarantee as long as you get it out of the house, they're not going to miss it in the long run.
Making me feel like I'm falling. wheels in motion. I'm going crazy for you. I feel like the ocean. I can see you want this.
And honestly, this mama did amazing. We got rid of at least half the toys, and it has to honestly be even more than that. But she won after getting rid of half. She felt so good. And she even said, she's like, I would love to go through this again and downsize even more. And that's when I reminded her, when it comes to decluttering, don't worry about doing it perfect the first time. Just getting rid of what she did get rid of is going to make a huge difference, and make it where in a couple weeks, couple months, if she wants to do it again, it's going to be so much less overwhelming and so much easier. And she started building up that muscle to be able to do a more thorough, better job next time. One thing I would like to do, I love the way she had the separation of her family room, and then behind the couches, this area for the toys to be. That way it's out where everyone is, because when you have little kids, that's where they're playing. They're playing out where the family is, but she kept it still separate and out of sight. I think that is great. You guys know I love bins and baskets. That way you can have things out, but when you want it put away and out of sight, it's really quick and easy to do. So one thing I would love to do with this makeover as well is to get one of those 6 or 8 piece cube organizers. I think that'll be plenty big, but that way she can put all of his toys into those cube organizers, keep some of the bigger stuff on top, kind of like what I have done in Freya's room. But otherwise, when he is not playing, it's real quick and easy to clean up. You just fill the bins. You can be as organized or disorganized as you want when it comes to those cube organizers. And it's going to look good no matter what, because you're putting them in something. And that's also when I recommend, don't get clear organizers. If you are a super organized person, it's totally different. But if you are naturally more cluttered, more messy, get something that's not see-through. If you want to add labels on it so that you know what's in them, that's great. But to do the clear stuff and expect yourself to keep up with something when you're not naturally that way, that can be really overwhelming in the beginning, and maybe something that down the road would be a lot easier for you.
Says no, I'm feeling good. 난 언제나 남들과 다르니까 난 special. Vibe check, 느낌 다른 move. I'm okay though. 누구 손가락질해도 나답게 움직여. I'm okay though. 빠르게 달려 속도는 switch up. 내 방식대로 nobody gonna stop me. 누가 뭐라 해도 난 내 길을 가. Yeah yeah yeah. 내가 원하는 건 다.
Now, I know I mentioned before hoping to get into the kitchen, but whenever I am working on a project, one, I never know how long exactly it is going to take. And I like to start a room and finish it to the best of my ability. I knew at this point I only was going to have about another 30 minutes to maybe an hour before I had to head home, which I knew would not be enough time to really start in the kitchen. So we were just looking to get this room cleaned up. Like I said, we were taking everything outside. Her husband at this time had just gotten home from work, so he also started pitching in and helping us take stuff outside and finish tidying everything up.
누구 손가락질해도 나답게 움직여. I'm okay though. 강한 vibe 끌어당겨 check me out. I'm okay though. I'm the girl no one better than me. I'm okay though. 강한 vibe 끌어당겨 check me out. I'm okay though. I'm the girl no one better than me. I'm okay though. No matter what you think or what you say, I'm okay though. I don't mind upping me and I'm okay though. Let them talk, let it all go. I'm okay though.
When talking to her, one of the big things she said is she has wanted to do this for so long, but just lacking that motivation. And I feel like so many of us can relate to that, of wanting to do something, but just not feeling motivated to do it. And she was saying, she's like, just having you here has made it so much easier. And I know I've mentioned that in previous videos. Sometimes when you're asking for help, it's not even that you need to ask someone to come and actually like do the work for you. I can't tell you how many times just having a friend to sit there and talk with you and bounce ideas off of sometimes can make the biggest difference in the world. And that was the situation here. Now, obviously, I was helping her, but she's behind me and cleaning up as well. She was cleaning the windows, and as you can see, the kids were running in and outside, so keeping the floors perfectly swept up was like a lose-lose battle. But no matter what, we were just trying to keep up with it. That way we could get the room as finished as possible before I had to head home.
Goes on and on and on, yeah. 디투어한 게 하얀 벚꽃만 바랬던 날 거꾸로서길 바랬던 예전 소원 이룬 날 너의 문자 사탕 같은 말 숨길 수 없는 payday 고소한 coffee yes we go on and on collect them all but I don't care what they say I like it I go la 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 I like it I just wah 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 oh baby say it and make it a day that bright.
A very successful day. I am super excited about helping out this mama because she is ready to go and just to live a more simple, streamlined life. Now, she does realize that even with the decluttering we did, that she's going to have to do more, which I love people that are so self-aware of stuff like that. But like I always say, cluttering isn't one and done, and it takes time. And if you have to go through something more than once, that's totally okay. She did a great job. I'm helping her out, and I have a van full of trash and donations that I'm going to be getting rid of for her so she doesn't have to worry about it. And yeah, we're going to go back and work on her kitchen next. We did not get to the kitchen today, but I like to start in a room and finish that room to the best of my ability. And I knew if we started in the kitchen, I only have about another 30 minutes before I'd have to go home, and it wasn't going to be worth it. So we're going to go back and help her in the kitchen next. And I'm also thinking, let me know in the comments if you guys want to see it, that we might do a little home makeover at the end of this series helping her out. Let me know if you guys would like to see that, but I know she hates her yellow walls, and I'd love to just, after doing all this cleaning and decluttering, just really freshen up her space. But hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, leave me a sunshine emoji down below if you made it all the way to the end, and I'll see you next time. Bye.